Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something, something truly special. We're going to unpack the blueprint of an absolute sports icon. We're looking at a figure who completely transcended his sport to become a cultural phenomenon, leaving a legacy that is still deeply felt today. I'm talking, of course, about Kobe Bryant. In this explainer, we're going to walk through his life, his 20-year career, his championships, and most importantly, the core principles of his legendary mindset. 4 a.m. Seriously, imagine waking up at that time every single day. And we aren't just talking about during the competitive season when the lights are on and everyone is watching. We're talking about the dead of summer. Imagine finishing a grueling, physically exhausting workout before most people's alarms have even gone off. That wasn't just dedication, That was the absolute baseline for one of the fiercest competitors the sports world has ever seen. While the rest of the world was sleeping, Kobe was working. So that brings us to a really fascinating question. How exactly did a 17-year-old kid straight out of high school evolve into a global symbol of excellence? For 2 decades, the Black Mamba completely dominated the basketball landscape. But that transformation from a teenager with a dream to a global icon, that didn't just happen by accident. It was meticulously constructed. So let's trace this incredible journey right from the beginning. Section 1. The bold leap from Italy to the NBA. To really understand Kobe, we've got to go back to his childhood. A lot of folks actually forget that Kobe grew up partly in Italy, where his father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, played professional basketball. Now, why does this matter? Well, because growing up overseas meant Kobe learned the game through a European lens. While kids in the US were focused on flash and highlights, Kobe was obsessively studying tapes. He was focusing heavily on the fundamentals, passing, and intricate footwork. Then he returns to the U.S. and absolutely stars at Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania. The buzz around him was simply undeniable. He didn't just want to play college basketball. He firmly believed he was ready for the big leagues right then and there. And that leads us to 1996. At just 17 years old, he made an incredibly rare and bold leap, declaring for the NBA draft straight out of high school. So he makes that massive leap, and he gets drafted 13th overall by the Charlotte Hornets. But in a draft day trade that literally altered the course of sports history, he was immediately sent to the Los Angeles Lakers. And man, the Lakers became his home, his canvas, and truly his kingdom for the next 20 years. It sparked a 2-decade relationship with a single franchise, which is incredibly rare in modern sports. Section 2. Rings, Rivalries, and Evolution, Forging a Dynasty. All right, we've got his foundation down. Now let's move right into the hardware phase of his career. 5 total NBA championships. As the ultimate metric of basketball success, winning just 1 championship is a lifelong dream for most players, right? Winning 5 puts you in a completely different stratosphere of greatness. It is the undeniable physical proof of his immense drive. But getting to that number 5 was an evolution. Success in Los Angeles didn't happen overnight, but when it hit, it came in absolute waves. First up, partnering with Shaquille O'Neal, a young Kobe helped anchor a dominant Lakers dynasty, securing a really rare three-peat of championships from 2000 to 2002. But true greatness is almost always forged in friction. When the roster shifted and the narrative changed, critics started to wonder, loudly, if Kobe could actually win a championship as the undisputed leader of a team without Shaq. Well, he answered that question emphatically. Through sheer willpower, he claimed back-to-back titles in 2009 and 2010. He didn't just win, he was the clear, undisputed leader. He earned Finals MVP honors both times and silenced those doubters permanently. And honestly, beyond those 5 rings, his resume is just staggering. We're talking 18 All-Star selections, 1 regular season NBA MVP in 2008, 2 Finals MVPs, and 2 Olympic gold medals representing Team USA. These aren't just numbers, they are the milestones that firmly establish him as the premier clutch player of his generation. He didn't just participate in his era, he defined it. Section 3. The Anatomy of Mamba Mentality, a Lifestyle Philosophy. So we've gone over the physical accomplishments, sure, but the internal engine that made it all possible? That is the Mamba Mentality. And this is really the true climax of our explainer today. It's a term you've probably heard a million times, but Kobe didn't just coin it as some catchy marketing phrase. It is a true lifestyle philosophy. It means constant self-assessment. It means obsessing over the tiny, microscopic details that others happily ignore. For Kobe, failure was never a permanent roadblock. Actually, failure was simply data. It was raw information to fuel his next obsession. The simple math behind his greatness is honestly undeniable. Think about it like this. While an opponent's reality might be spending 2 hours in the gym, Kobe's obsession demanded 4. If his peers were working hard, Kobe was working twice as hard. It was a relentless, highly calculated drive to outwork absolutely everyone else in the room, day after day, year after year. And, there's probably no single moment that captures the sheer physical reality of this mindset better than what happened late in his career, when Kobe suffered a devastating Achilles tendon rupture. Now, for any athlete, this is a catastrophic, agonizing injury where your body just physically gives out. Most people would have been carried off the floor immediately. But what did Kobe do? He stayed on the court, he hobbled to the line and sank his free throws before finally walking off and heading straight to surgery. That is the Mamba mentality in pure physical action. Mind over matter, duty to the craft over personal pain. Kobe himself actually put it best. He said, to sum up what Mamba mentality is, it means to be the best version of yourself. It's brilliant in its simplicity, isn't it? And this is exactly why his mindset completely transcends basketball. You don't have to be a professional athlete to have the Mamba mentality. This philosophy has inspired artists, entrepreneurs, teachers, and creators globally. It is a universal call for all of us to maximize our own potential. Section 4. A permanent imprint. Life beyond the court. Moving into the final phase of his life, it's incredibly fascinating to watch his transition from a basketball player to a creator. When Kobe stepped away from the game in 2016, he didn't just fade quietly into retirement. He left fans with a legendary, almost unbelievable 60-point performance in his final game. And then, he took that exact same obsessive Mamba mentality energy and poured it right into his post-basketball career. The result? He transitioned immediately into filmmaking and won an Academy Award for his animated short film, Dear Basketball. The exact same drive that won him NBA championships won him an Oscar. Now, even though his physical journey was tragically cut short in 2020, the most empowering takeaway from his story is that the framework he left behind, it remains deeply active today. He left us his notes. He left us his philosophy. The Mamba mentality serves as a permanent blueprint for absolutely anyone trying to master their craft, no matter what that craft might be. So, that leaves us with a final question for you. What is your favorite Kobe memory? And honestly, more importantly, how are you going to use the Mamba mentality to be better than you were yesterday? Take that blueprint, apply it to your own life, obsess over your details, and push yourself to be your best version. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.